Start with questions in English. And we'll start with Nick from Haters, please.
Hi there, Novak. Thanks for your time. It's Nick Callow from Haters here. I'm just wondering how you're finding life in the Wimbledon bubble, and if you're here just with your team or you've got your family with you as well.
I've got my team, 3 people with me. That's what we've been told, that we are allowed to have player plus 3. So they're the only ones that are with me, and as everyone else, I'm at the only official hotel, and it's not ideal. Obviously, you don't like being in the bubble, but it's not the first but hopefully one of the last bubbles that we'll have. At least we have a nice weather this couple of days that I've spent time here in London, and got to go around the site. Obviously, with a few days prior to the tournament, there are not too many people on site, which allows you to walk around and breathe some fresh air. So yeah, I mean, once you start a tournament, obviously you won't be able to do that. So the restriction of movement is not ideal, but it is what it is, and it's the same for everyone. Equal competitive field, so to say, and I've been feeling good. You know, I've been hitting the ball well and focusing on the championship and trying to make the most out of it.
Willie Weinbaum.
Hi, Novak. It's Willie from ESPN. How has your perspective evolved on the meaning of 20 major titles?
Well, I have 19 major titles, so I know what's the perspective with 19. With 20, I don't know. Hopefully I can find out in a few weeks, but let's see. Grand Slams are the biggest motivation I have right now at this stage of my career. You know, I've been saying that before. You know, I want to try to make the most out of Grand Slams as I possibly can, trying to peak at the majors, and I've been managing to do that throughout my career. I've had fortune to really play my best tennis when it mattered the most, I think. So yeah, I have to, you know, obviously nowadays adjust my schedule a bit more with obviously the quality time with family. That means a lot to me, and reducing the number of tournaments and trying to adjust everything so that I could be at my top level on slams. That's how my last year and a half looked like, and that's how probably the rest of my career will look like. In terms of scheduling the tournaments, and the confidence run is there. The level of confidence is pretty high. Obviously, winning the 2 majors this year, playing very well in Roland Garros, and that tournament took a lot out of me, I think, mentally and physically and emotionally, but it also granted me with an incredible amount of positive energy and confidence that created a wave that I'm trying to ride, so to say. I did not allow myself, and I cannot allow myself to enjoy that victory too much, because, you know, 4 days later, after I won the title, I was on the grass courts training. I didn't have too much time really to reflect on what has happened in Paris, but that's how it is. That's the tennis season and tennis schedule, and I turn the next page, and hopefully I'll be able to do as well here in Wimbledon as I have in 18 and 19. You know, I've been on the run on these courts, and I love being here. It's the dream tournament has always been a dream tournament for me when I was a 7-year-old kid and dreaming to win the Wimbledon. So it always gives me goosebumps walking into these courts, and it inspires me to play my best.
Howard Fendrich, please.
Hi, Novak. Howard Fendrich with the AP. There's a lot now that is sort of on the horizon for you, possibilities in terms of the number 20 you were just speaking about, a little further on, the idea of the Olympics, Golden Slam, or a true Grand Slam, something the sport hasn't seen in quite a while. With those sorts of things, what is the challenge or difficulty, or maybe you don't find it difficult to focus in the moment, not worry about anything in the offing in the horizon, and not just now, let's say, focus on Wimbledon, but focus on each match, each set, each game, each point. How do you go about that?
Well, I think you answered the question as well. The biggest challenge and the biggest task is always how to be present and how to stay in the moment, regardless of the possibilities, the hypotheticals, and various options that are out there. There's always something on the line. I feel like for me, probably Roger and Rafa as well. When it comes to the tennis history in the last couple of years, we've been very successful, especially particularly on slams, and of course that I understand that people love to debate, who is the greatest, who's going to have the most titles, etc., etc. So there's always a lot going on, I think, off the tennis court. But once I'm on the court, I try to lock in and I try to exclude all the distractions, and I feel like over the years I managed to develop the mechanism that allows me to do that. And everyone has their own special ways to how to center themselves, how to focus themselves, and really direct, so to say, the energy in what matters the most, which is the present moment. So I have my own techniques, my own ways. It has been working so far, so I'll try to keep on doing that. And here in Wimbledon particularly, I need to just take it day by day and see how far it goes.
Eleanor Crooks.
Hi Novak, Eleanor Crooks from PA. How much, if anything, do you know about Jack Draper?
I honestly do not know too much about Draper. I've seen him play a little bit in Queens where he beat Sinner, and I actually practiced with Sinner yesterday, so I asked him a couple of questions about Draper's game. I know he's lefty. I've seen him practice today a little bit, and I have to do my homework. I have to basically speak to more players and watch some of the videos of his most recent, would be probably the most recent performances in Queens on grass. And he's a home player. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of support, a lot of people behind him. It's the first match on the center court, new virgin grass, obviously coming in as a defending champion. It's always a very special feeling for me, and but it can be very, very dangerous, very tricky, playing against a home favorite, someone that doesn't have much to lose. The guy who has beaten some really good players last week in Queens. So I'm taking him very seriously, and hopefully I'll be able to prepare myself for that match as best as possible and perform well.
Craig Gabriel.
Novak, Craig Gabriel from Australia. You've done this, maybe I think 4 times, where you've continue with the tradition of opening the center court program on the first Monday of the tournament. Do you ever get blasé about it, or is it incredibly special every time? And what is that feeling like when you're walking out onto, as you just referred to it, virgin grass for that first match?
There are many unique things about Wimbledon, and one of them is obviously this tradition that defending champion is the first one that opens up the campaign on the center court on the untouched grass, Monday 1:30 actually this time, but you always know if you win a Wimbledon that next year you're going to be playing there on Monday at 1:00. So it does feel different from any other slam, really, walking onto the center court of Wimbledon. No advertisement, no banners. Everything is about tennis. All focus is on players and on the court. And I just find that very fascinating, considering we're living in a very commercial, very material world today. The Wimbledon managed to preserve its culture, its tradition, which is phenomenal.
Okay, I think we will wrap up in English now, and we will move to Serbian, please. Sasha, would you like to start?
Yes, thank you. Nole, bio si u sličnoj situaciji, to jest u istoj 2016. kada si osvojio Roland Garros. Mislim da je situacija u tvom telu i u tvom umu sada drastično drugačija nabolje, pa ako možeš to da prokomentariš.
Jeste drugačije nekako kada doživiš nešto jedanput i svaki sledeći put ako doživiš sličnu situaciju, mudriji si, iskusniji si, onda se tako nekako bolje postavljaš. Mislim da to iskustvo koje sam imao iz 2016. Mi definitivno pomaže da se malo bolje i kako ja kažem, organizovanije postavim sada u odnosu na tu godinu kada je u pitanju pristup Wimbledonu. Malo pre su me pitali isto na engleskom oko toga, oko mogućnosti da se osvoji ovaj Grand Slam i US Open, da se zaokruži neki zlatni Grand Slam. Naravno da je sve to nekako u vazduhu i da su sve to mogućnosti. Svestan sam toga, idem ka tome, želim to, ali opet s druge strane se trudim da pristupim ovom turniru kao i svakom drugom, nekako da idem korak po korak, jer to je strategija i pristup koji je meni dozvolio da prosto dođem do ove tačke u mojoj karijeri gde se nalazim trenutno. I imao sam zaista veoma uspešne turnire ovde u Wimbledonu tokom moje karijere, pogotovo 2018. i 2019. Vezao sam dosta pobjeda za redom i prošle godine se nije održao Wimbledon, tako da se nadam da ću nastaviti taj niz pobjeda. Zaista volim da igram na travi, to nije bio slučaj možda u početku moje karijere, iako sam od uvek sanjao da osvojim Wimbledon, ali imao sam prvih nekoliko godina moje karijere poteškoće da se naviknem na kretnju i na prosto drugačiji stil igre koji iziskuje ova podloga, ali danas je to drugačije. Mislim, prilagodio sam se, adaptirao sam svoju igru, imao sam dosta dobre treninge i nekoliko dubl mečeva u Majorci koji su mi pomogli za servis i return specifično i voleje. Ovde evo sam već 2 dana trenirao, imali smo sreće da je vreme dobro, nije bilo kiše, tako da imao sam kvalitetne treninge sa Sinerom i sa Berettinijem, igrao sam poene, osetio sam loptice, teren i tako dalje. Spreman sam, zaista, evo, jedva čekam da izađem na teren prvi meč i da počne turnir.
Hvala, Nole.
Hvala.
Do we have more questions in Serbian? Okay, thank you everybody.
Thank you.